unite. It's time to war, to fight the fight against the puppet masters pulling strings. We'll strip away the power here on piercing screams. We won't be silenced anymore. We break free from the chains that they adore. Stand tall. Unrig in the game we rise. We'll bring reality from their lies. Unrig the game, unleash the fury.
Greetings and welcome to Unrig the Game. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope you are all doing and living well. Here we are. It is Monday and we are off and rolling. Thank you to all of those YouTube members with the reoccurring memberships. Thank you so much for supporting the channel every month. You know, you got that prepaid super chat waiting for you. You're ahead of the game. And I appreciate your support. So how's everybody doing out there? Say hello to the crowd. Wolfram, thank you for posting these links. He wipes his paws. He lopes in the house. Welcome to the show. Daisy, welcome to the show. How have you been? What have you been up to? Have you got your Rumble account fixed yet? Do you need help? We're here for you. There's Shelly. She's saying hello to everybody. And we got the early crowd in the house. All right. So good to see everybody. Feels like I just saw you yesterday, and that's great. We had a good time on last night's show. Hope you guys will check it out. Tonight we're going to be reading chapter 4. And as I put this, because this is the kickoff show. And after the kickoff show, we'll be reading chapter 4 of Woke Inc. by Vivek Ramaswamy. And we do that exclusively on Rumble and X. So please give us a follow and a thumbs up and a heart on there, an X on Rumble, and of course here on YouTube where they're draining my subs daily. They really want to try to keep me below 4,600, but we have to get back above 4,600 and beyond. I really want to hit that 5,000 mark one day. That'd be nice. We'll keep working at it. Tonight on the kickoff show, this is where you're at right now here on the YouTube side. And if you're here for the reading part and you're rewatching, if you skip ahead about 30 to 40 minutes, an hour, when you see the book in the frame, that's when we're reading. So if you are just here to read the book, that's how you can get to it really quickly. If you're on the rewatch crew, that is. Otherwise, it's the kickoff show. Here we go. So we're going to talk about a few things on the kickoff show tonight. And one of them, you know, some current topics that involve the election and involve Vivek as well, since he's the star of the show for this series. About the VP picks, he's on the short list. We all know he's on the short list, but I want to give you like a head-to-head, kind of show you the top 3 that I've heard that are out there, and kind of put them all next to each other and let you see what you think. And then we're going to get back over to a little bit more of the Biden replacement theory stuff that we started talking about the other night. Just a little bit more of that, because there's a letter out from some of the big supporters who and some more news about that, as in whether they're going to try to replace him or not. The world is split on it right now. Everybody who wants to believe things make perfect sense to their eyes, and what they would do is what happens, are leaning towards the side he's going to be replaced. And there's a bunch of other people that say it's not that easy, probably isn't going to happen, and they're not letting the whole, you know, he's too feeble and not fit to serve gimmick cloud the judgment of the fact that the establishment loves to have a good puppet, and the more incapable they are, the more they like them, because then they can just run things from behind the scene and scapegoat them, that is, for all the bad stuff that happens. You know, it's like that's kind of part of being the establishment puppet. Is it you get to take the fall. Let's see. I think I found another angle on the Rumble account access, but I've been offline this past week and have not retried. I took a mental break. Plus, I had chores. Well, good. We're happy that you're back. We hope you feel awesome, refreshed, and ready to rock and roll with us tonight. Tonight. Let's see. Okay. Well, let me pull up this first clip here. This is from Fox News. It was immediately, I guess, right after the debate. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but we're going to see the top two people probably going for the VP pick right here in this clip. So let's take a look at it and we'll comment as we go.
All right. So what are Democrats going to do? Will Joe Biden actually become his party's nominee? There are some doubts, by the way, coming inside the Democratic Party tonight. Anyway, joining us now with reaction, former 2024 Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. Oh.
Doug Burgum reminds me of the Fonz for some reason, like Fonzie. But I want you guys to pay close attention to Vivek and Fonz here. And watch their responses. And let me know after we watch this, who do you think is the best pick between the two of them is?
Both names have come up as potential VPs. Yours more than
Yes,
his. Sorry. Yeah, well, you're younger. You got more time. Let's get your reaction. I want two reactions, though. The first reaction I want is, what did you think of Donald Trump's performance versus Joe Biden?
Okay, use all your senses here: body language, delivery, and just imagine like who you'd like to see as VP and how they would do out there as VP in terms of their responding to media, responding to whatever they need to. The VP has to, I mean, a good VP can do that for you. And just basically, all in all, what your impressions are.
I don't want this to just be about, well, Joe Biden mumbles, bumbles, and stumbles, because he does every day.
Well, the reality is, I mean, the discussion beforehand is, were they going to drug him up? I think they gave him a lobotomy instead. And as an American, just take the actual Republican Democrat nature out of this. This is frightening. As a citizen of the United States of America, this is the man responsible for defending our homeland when we're facing the greatest national security threats we've faced in our history. That's downright frightening, regardless of the debate. So did Donald Trump mop the floor tonight? Absolutely, he did. I think he delivered one of the best debate performances we've seen in modern history.
Separate and apart from Joe,
yes,
his debate performance stood apart from many that I've seen over the years that I've watched. I've been addicted to politics since Ronald Reagan was president. What was your take, Governor?
Well, I'll take a different tact on this, agreeing with everything that you said in the previous section. Vivek and I got to sit together and watch it. But if you're a business person and you're watching this, there was no answer from Joe Biden about inflation. There was no about energy policy. There was nothing about high interest rates. All he talked about was, I'm going to keep taxing the rich. And when he talked about a solution, everything was him spending money. So this is a 50-year-old Democrat plan, tax spend, and they think that's their way to a solution. And what you said earlier, Sean, is the thing that I think scares every American, is that, Putin was watching this. China was watching. I mean, China, what they're doing in the Philippines last week and what they may do now, when they see that kind of weakness on our stage, it is, as Vivek says, it is frightening.
It's kind of chilling, because we were told last week, weren't we, that, these are great fake videos, as if attacking the work that I do every night, because we did not edit. This is unedited. This was real-time tape. Barack Obama did go over, grab his hand, put his arm around him, and walk him off the stage. We did see him walk away at the G7. These are real moments where he has, call it whatever you, brain lapses, yep, whatever you want to call it. And for the biggest period of time, we're 130 days out of this election, the media mob in this room lied to the American people. The Democratic Party lied to the American people, and they've been trying to hide this for the entire time. Now, all of a sudden, they're in a panic because they see Donald Trump had a great night and that their candidate did not. And now, maybe we made a mistake. Sorry.
Well, yeah, what they're doing is they're countering. We're going to do that next. They're countering with a certain narrative.
Everybody with eyes to see saw this.
Joe Biden also lied to the American people back 4 years ago in the 2020 debate. And if you're CNN and you're hosting this, the one question they should have asked is, why did you look into the camera 4 years ago and lie to the American public about Hunter Biden's laptop?
He lied about the laptop.
Yep.
The 51 people were organized by Wink and Tony Blinken. They did it to basically influence an election. Polls show that it had an effect on the outcome of that election.
They lie and they lie. That's part of their gimmick. That's what they do. Remember, the ends justify the means to them. Whatever it takes to stay in power. Alinsky's rules for radicals in effect. They invert reality. That's what evil does. It inverts reality. That's what sociopaths and narcissists do. Is they blame you for what they're doing. We're just seeing it. I mean, people sometimes it's just like sometimes don't want to admit what they're seeing in terms of what we're actually dealing with here. No, it's the mask. The mask is an effective tool for people who do this stuff. And they do it, like we talked about the other night, they do it for their base, particularly for the people that are already under their control, to keep them there. People like us were outside of their control. They can only hope to silence us and discredit us. That's all they can do with us, because they can't put us back in the bottle. So, when they do this stuff, when they're lying out there and people are all amazed and taken in by it, and they're like, can you believe it? Well, nobody that it could possibly, knowing this, it could possibly kind of change their mind is ever going to watch this interview or watch these shows. They've been trained out of watching anything that doesn't come directly from their approved establishment media sources. So, and that includes Fox. They think Fox is against them, and I tend to think that Fox is, the other side of the establishment right. Generally, I don't put a whole lot of credit or stock into them. I know they could flip at any moment. So, anyways, that's why they tend to lie and do it shamelessly and act like they're not doing it when they're doing it, and then tell you that you're lying when you're not. It's all a childish mind game, really. But because adults are doing it, we don't seem to see it sometimes. I mean, at least a lot of people don't seem to see it.
Election. He also lied about never speaking to his son or brother or anybody. His own son says he's the big guy. His own son says that he gave half his income to his pops and paid his home repair bills.
So you're absolutely right. If you look at the polling of independents after the 2020 election, many of them said they would have changed their vote had they known about the Hunter Biden laptop. But I'm worried this time around, Sean, we would be at risk of seeing that on steroids. Because imagine this scenario. Imagine a scenario where Biden won narrowly after he goes on that stage and calls Trump a convicted felon, which is the stated strategy of the Democrats right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Then the Supreme Court overturns the conviction in New York, which I expect is going to happen. What is that going to do to the future of the actual health of democracy in this country? And I think President Trump's best moments tonight were when he really came through the camera and authentically landed things that were just true. The fact that he doesn't have to be doing this. I thought his admission of that, the fact that I would not be running for president if you had done a good job, that I was rooting for you to do a good job.
By the way, wasn't that a pretty good moment? I thought that was one of his best moments.
I thought it was the best moment. The combination of that honesty.
I don't know about that or the golf part.
The golf part, especially when he got them out of the childish. He said, let's not be childish anymore.
Yeah.
But the part where Trump looked through the camera and says, I don't want to be doing this. I wanted you to be a good president. The contrast between that and I think Biden's inherent absence of presence, that I think will bring a lot of independent voters over the night.
Let me ask you both. If you're asked, and this is a quick answer question, if you're asked, would you accept the VP spot?
I think anybody has duty to this country to say yes, and I think President Trump.
I would say no, but go ahead. By the way, not that there's ever a chance in hell. I could not vet as well as you. Go ahead.
Well, a lot of great choices.
Say, tonight, that's an interesting question. Tonight's all about Donald Trump, his fantastic performance. You look around this arena tonight, there's a
he said yes, and you're dodging.
There's a dozen.
You dodged the last time. You ducked the last time.
The VP question is Joe Biden's VP pick 4 years ago.
I think it's got to be who Donald Trump's most comfortable with. I think that's the answer. Yeah. Thank you both. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey,
all right.
Here to
so, what did you guys think? That was the 1 and 2 right there. The top two. I think from what I've heard, those are the top two in contention. You know who I'm rooting for and why I think that Vivek is the best pick. After seeing that, I'm now very confident that Vivek is the best pick. But what did you guys think? I mean, he didn't even say he would actually accept it. I mean, you got to really want that job. At that point, what's going on over there? I don't know, the cats are meowing, doing something weird. Anyways, so you gotta go out and grab it. Say, yeah, I want it. You know, show who wants the most. I mean, a lot of it has to do with that. But Vivek said, right, you know, he said yes. He said, of course I would. I have a duty to do that, you know, and I would totally do that. And I think that just judging from their presence, like how they answer questions, how they look on camera, their nerves, Vivek's cool as the other side of the pillow, and he seemed a little nervous. He seemed to be gripping his fingers tightly together. That's a little bit of nerves there going on, repeating the same words kind of in succession, sentence to sentence, you know, like someone who's, you know, consistently using like a kind of like a go-to word. And I didn't like the dodgy answer. I mean, we don't want to be dodgy. We don't want to be politicians. We want to be beyond politicians. And yes, we have to be political in our responses, but I want to, you know, we need to be more upfront and just straightforward. Yeah, there's something a little creepy about him too. He's got that constant bedhead. They would be like the bad hair ticket, you know, or something. It looks like he just woke up. I don't know. I'm not sold on him. I'm sure he's a really nice guy. Maybe he will make a good, you know, cabinet member. I mean, we need governors, and if he's a great guy, I don't like pulling governors out of governorships, because if they support Trump, we need him there. You know, we need him there. The DeSantis, that's what I said about DeSantis in Florida. Like, I'd rather have him there right now than as president, of course. And you know, even the VP pick, kind of like, you know, we need strong governors. We need strong governors. So when they try to pull things like pandemics on us, we have good, solid people and leadership in the states. We can push back on globalist agendas and establishment agendas and so on when it comes to those situations. So I want to show you one more. This is the other guy. I looked around for things with him.
Before we go, Don.
What is going on? The kitten's going crazy right now. Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. Snips is in the house. Hang on a second. All right. Sorry for the interruption there. I need to go get one of my cats into another room. Yeah, the mama kitty. That's right. Yeah. I was wondering. I was like, it sounded weird. I was like, what are they doing? She'll mess them up. She'll mess the kitten up if she wants to. Yeah, but anyways, here's the next guy. I didn't know much about him. I don't know much about him. And let's just do the analysis here real quick, and then we'll see what we think.
Before we go, Donald Trump has revealed he has a pretty good idea of who he'd select as his running mate for VP. There's speculation it could be Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. I loved his book, Hillbilly Elegy. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I think he's fantastic. I'm a big fan, but I think he'd be a bad choice as vice president because he's just too young. He's only been in the Senate a short time. And I think most importantly, he's not going to bring any more votes to Trump. I mean, I would say zero. So I think if Trump was being strategic, he would pick someone who might be able to garner a few more votes for the Trump ticket. And
yeah, but you know, I agree with everything except for the votes thing. Like, he's already got all the votes, right? What VP is going to bring him more votes, and from where? That's what I'm wondering.
As much as I personally admire his intellect, Vance's intellect, he's very impressive, and I agree with him on most things. I just don't see how that's really going to add anything to the ticket. I think he'd be better off choosing a woman, a conservative woman of some sort, or some sort of minority. I mean, I know that plays into the DEI nonsense. That's probably what they're thinking. But I'm just being a pragmatist. Are
you being a sellout?
I think he should be strategic about this choice. And look, we'll find out in a few weeks. I mean, he's going to leave it until the last minute, I would say, because he enjoys all the speculation.
Thank you so much for joining me, mate.
Yeah. Thanks, Caleb. Speak soon.
So that wasn't really hold on. That wasn't really a view of him, and like his. I don't think that his nothing that I found that he said or any of speech like really wowed me, but just to hear an opinion on it, he'd probably be in third place. I don't know why. And there's some that there's Big Carson because of the anchor baby thing. Big Carson, I wouldn't be upset about. He'd be fine. He served in the administration. He did it well. He's definitely loyal. I have no worries about him, and he can be really tough when he needs to be tough. He speaks quietly, he speaks softly, and carries a big stick, right? So he can I wouldn't be upset if that was the pick. But I think that he'd love to put him back into what he was doing because he did such a good job before. Bring the people you can trust. I mean, you need to fill out an entire cabinet, as well as you need to start putting people in other positions, fill other positions in the bureaucracy as well. You need people that could be loyal and not come up the works. We've got a lot of work to do on day one. A lot of work. The first year is going to be busy, trying to clean house, get the right people in, and trying to ungum the works because we already went through what their strategy is going to be. They're going to try to just dump the mud on them and just make them be able to do as little as possible and bog them down and hold up his picks and hold up their security clearances and so on. It's kind of been through what their strategy is going to be. Should they lose, when they lose again, I should say. Hello, Suzanne. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so VP picks. Now you see the top three. This is going crazy. I don't know what it's meowing at. It's being nutty tonight. Meowing at nothing, meowing by itself. Yeah. So what do you guys think? I think Vivek's still number one best pick. He checks the boxes. This is the Australian guy saying, you want a minority? Just technically you have one there. And not that matters. I mean, most people don't think of Indians like that for some reason. I don't know why. But whatever. It's still the same thing. They did it with Kamala Harris, so I guess it's the same thing. But yeah, I think that I don't think that I would be happy with either one of these other guys in this list of three over Vivek. I think Vivek's ready. I think it's just one of those people that have it. He's in the right spot for this type of role. He's just got what it takes. He really does. He has the energy. He has the mind. He has the experience. He has the untouchability. Like, I don't know about these other two guys, but I don't know if either one of them are outside establishment or lobbyist influence, And we got to remember that's one of the big killers when it comes to corruption is like, the lobby's ability to, in the deep state's ability to influence people who are in office, no matter what side they are on, and have them totally do take sharp left turns when they want them to, and we don't need that. So Vivek is the safe choice. Seems to be the best as far as presentation goes, best on issues, best on speaking, best on reactions, and being able to handle different situations. I don't think you can get any better than that. Now, I hope Trump sees it the same way. Yeah, so we need the same policies, mindset for the next 12 to 16 years to make a serious generational change. Yes, exactly. And then we have to be part of that too. We have to be part of that. That's going to be the part we got to put work in, and we can't, I think a lot of people just want to check out on it. They get through this and they check out on it. Like, okay, now back to me, right? As soon as it's over. And it takes more than that. We have to start putting those generational root cause solutions in. And we can't do that if we check out. Just because we think, okay, well, they've got it. I don't know that is we have to get out of that mentality somehow. I don't know how we do it, honestly. That's one of those things that's going to take some work. Take some thinking about. Take some good old-fashioned thinking about. All right. So we talked about the Biden replacement theory. It's everywhere, right? And all over the first veil establishment narrative as well. It's like it's out there somewhat, but a lot of counters are coming out, and a lot of the truly indoctrinated, truly bought out, truly in it to win it at any cost. People on the establishment side are running defense on this. They are they're coming out. Okay, they're countering everything with, but he's a felon. You know, of course, he's a felon because you guys bent the rules, you changed the laws, you ran a witch hunt, and you fabricated this. We all know you fabricated it, at least on our side. The people outside of the narrative, people in it are going to listen to this bullshit. Oh, I don't care if he's old. And what about the 50 years he's given us? 50 years of corruption. Yes, 50 years of corruption. Thank you for that. Bad touch, Biden. Yeah. And then we ignore all the crimes he does because, you know, there's obviously somebody else's fault. And, you know, so the narrative they can come out with to keep him in line is, look at all the bad things Trump did. You know, we railroaded him in 2 different court cases, and now he has a felon. And they say he did something to a woman that he never met before. You know, just again, weaponized justice system. We see it, they don't. And they're just countering this whole thing with, well, it's one bad debate. You know, put it to rest. It's all if you want to see a psychological operation against their own side in action, watch this one. This is the liberal hive mind, and we actually agree on things here.
I absolutely think that the Democrat Party should replace Joe Biden, but the replacement should have probably been announced 12 months ago. And so now the question is, are Democrats going to swap candidates right ahead of Election Day? Well, I just can't see that happening, and it seems as though some of the top Democrat supporters and donors, well, they've made the decision. They're sticking by Joe. Democrat mega donor Reid Hoffman, that's LinkedIn's co-founder Reid Hoffman, is one of those Democrats. He had the highest of hopes for Biden. In fact, this was what he was saying before the debate.
I've had a 2-hour lunch with Biden. Like, it's very popular to say, well, he's, you know, old, he's not cognitively with it. In a 2-hour conversation, he was asking me questions about AI. He was explaining stuff that was going on in nuanced detail in Israel. You know, he was kind of saying, look, this is what I care about your average worker, and this is what we need to be doing. And how can you, technology industry, be helping the average worker? Look, it was a 2-hour robust conversation. He's good.
This guy had the highest hopes for Joe and obviously was let down. But despite that, he's doubling down in his support for Joe Biden. Here's an email from Reid Hoffman. Biden, the debate and the election. Friends for truth, decency in the American way. I got a lot of emails in the last 24 hours asking whether there should be a public campaign to pressure President Biden to step aside after his very bad debate performance last night. It certainly delivered a blow to the mood among donors and organizers. Unfortunately, people see Joe's age, expressed through slower motion and speech, more than Donald's age, expressed through dementia.
What?
Okay.
What?
And the debate exacerbated these.
There you go. There's a little psychological tactic right there. I'm sure you all picked up on it, but you know that again, trying to invert reality there when dementia is definitely what Joe has, but they try to put it on Trump with no evidence and nothing to support it. Somebody said the other day, like medical. I don't know. They said, what was the term they used? They used medical experts say, oh, it was Pelosi. Hold on, I'll play that one in.
Concerns about Joe, enough that people saw these more than Trump's many lies. I think such a campaign to get Biden to step down would be a bad idea for a few reasons. First, Joe is our nominee. Any decision to step aside is up to him and his family, period. If anything, a public effort might compel the Bidens to try to prove the doubters wrong. Joe is a resolute fighter after all. All right, well, you pretty much get it. Blah, blah, blah. Trump MAGA threat to democracy. Blah, blah, blah. 34 felonies. Blah, blah, blah. TL.
Yeah, there it is. See, 34 felonies. Yes, again, this is like when you say Biden sniffs kids, Ashley's diary, they immediately come back with the grab him by the whatever, you know, that line from 8 years ago. They immediately come back and they don't ever address the fact that Biden actually did what he did. They just try to turn it around and find something about Trump to argue with you about. The prime example of somebody who doesn't want the truth, just wants to be right.
LDR, a bunch of
They're not
left-wing
right.
nonsense and Democrat lies, all to say that Joe Biden stays
Mind
on.
control.
Look, guys, I know we spend a whole lot of time going on about Democrat insanity, the idiocy and insanity of the left, but they're not that stupid, especially not the leadership. They know there's no other choice. It's Joe Biden or bust. A lot of people are predicting that this whole thing was planned. They sent Biden out there to make a fool of himself so they could replace him with Gavin Newsom.
How are the Democrats allowing Joe Biden to do a debate? Have you been paying attention? The guy is a vegetable. He's gone. He belongs in a nursing home. He can barely finish a sentence. The Democrats had to know that. Why would you agree to a debate with Biden at this stage, the earliest debate of all time, when you know he's gone, when you know he can't speak, when you know he's a vegetable? Because they want to whack him. Because they know he is not going to be the nominee. I said this 10 months ago, 11 months ago, when Gavin Newsom, and go look who's trending, Gavin Newsom. It's so obvious. Why, as a governor, are you taking a tour of the world? For what purpose? Because he knew, and the Democrats have known, Joe Biden is gone. He's gone, and they need somebody else.
You know, it sounds fun, and of course, it's very fun to engage in this sort of speculation, but it just doesn't make sense. And actually, MSNBC did a little bit of a rundown.
In the Economist YouGov poll, same poll, Joe Biden was sitting at 39%. She's at 37%. So if you're looking to the vice president, you have to ask yourself, does that actually put you, if you're a Democrat, in a better position politically? And then the question would become, if you say it doesn't, would Kamala Harris also agree to step aside and let a brand new ticket come in? Or is that something she would fight? Would you have complications there? But if you got to that next level and it's not Kamala Harris, then the issue is stature. Who of any stature could you put in who Democrats would agree on to be consensus immediately, and maybe who the country knows? And there's not much polling on some of the names that you hear. This was conducted by...
Look, and now I'll let him finish here, but look at this. And Whitmer's already out there testing the markets, right? It's like that's a power-hungry, deranged biatch right there, man. She's like faking kidnappings, doing all kinds of shit like that, putting innocent people in jail. Yeah, she's pure evil.
So for an interest group earlier this year, and there's a lot of names I would like to test, but these are the three that they did test in this poll, just to give you a sense of it. Pete Buttigieg, favorable 30, unfavorable 28. That's still a lot who don't know him. Gavin Newsom, look at...
Don't know him. He sucks. He's been awful. Everybody remembers him from the debacle. He's done with his job here, man. That's what it is. Gavin Newsom is on a second recall as governor. Congratulations on being that bad. And of course, we all know Whitmer is a lying hoe. And by the way, speaking of guys from Whitmer, I found it today, guys, that when Radix Verum was on Tim Pool last time, we were all real excited. We're hoping it would be a good night for her, and that she would be able to raise money for her documentary that she's been working her butt off to try to fund and try to put out, you know, and to help these people out, to expose the deep state tactics, and something that we need to actually resolve as an issue in order to stop these kind of things from happening, these manufactured events from happening. And he did not give her enough time to speak, like, on the topic. He didn't harp it. He didn't help sell the documentary or what she's working on. And sorry, it looks like I'm getting a little bit of lag here. But he didn't give her a dime. Yeah, I'm like, dude, I mean, come on. He just bought almost $1 million worth of land, and it had a skate park on it that he, it was a DIY, do-it-yourself skate park where they just have abandoned land and they do a skate park, and they ask the owner to let them stay after they already do it. And they say, we will never sue you for anything. Just let us skate here. He tried to donate $20,000 to a tournament they're having, or a contest. And the guy who's running it, who doesn't own the land, just happens to be like, some loudmouth in the skate scene there in Martinsville, didn't like Tim. Obviously, they sell out to the establishment and didn't like Tim. And so they rejected his money. Well, Tim had already been looking at buying that land anyway, so he just bought it. But I mean, he spent that much money, like like I said, almost $1 million. If you want to throw in the $20,000 on that, but didn't give Radix any money. I mean, that's just like, why wouldn't you? I could say, why wouldn't you just support the documentary and then put it on your platform so you could recoup your investment? I mean, I'm sure she would love that. I just, yeah. I mean, I don't know if she just doesn't sell it hard when she goes there and be like, look, I'm looking for donors. You got money, pay me. Let's do this. Come on, we'll put it on your network. I don't know if she's the kind of person that can do a hard sell like that. But plus it's, you're on the big stage, right? You got invited to the Saturday night show on the big stage at the huge festival when you're on the Tim Pool show. So it might be a little bit of like, oh, I don't want to piss him off because I won't be able to come back. But what's the point of being there if you can't further your cause, right? I mean, it's certainly in for the deep insights they put out, because it's kind of like lukewarm this time. Tim has some good takes sometimes. The other people are still trying to learn what the hell's going on. Anyways, I digress. But when I see Whitmer, I think of that, and I actually just followed up on all that information I got for you today, because I was hoping that he would realize, hey, this is a good investment, but he didn't. And I don't understand why somebody with that much money to just, wouldn't want to invest it in a product that he could actually just put on his, website and make part of his platform. Like, doesn't make any sense to me. I think if I had a chance to talk to him about it, I probably would bring that up. Anyways, let's get back to this. Here we go. Dismal numbers for replacements for Biden is part of the reason why they probably aren't going to replace him.
At that, almost half the country doesn't have an opinion of him, but those that do, it's already double digits negative. Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, the vast majority, no
Judge,
opinion of her, 17 among those who do. And again, there's other names out there you're already probably hearing, like Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, Amy Klobuchar, senator from Minnesota. But this is a sense of the numbers. When you get beyond Biden and Harris and those big name national figures, you get a lot of people. It's a question mark. Michelle Obama, the last time we polled her on this question of favorable, unfavorable, now it's been a few years, but it was 57, we're trying to write this down. It was 57% favorable and just 25% unfavorable. So that's the kind of profile just in terms of, widely known, and look at that much.
That's cult of personality. That's based on no experience, no ability to function in the job, nothing. That's just Obama cult of personality, which is scary, but luckily, she said she has no desire to do that, and thank God, because a lot of people would be sucked into cult of personality. They would just go with the sex, the race, or not the race, the color, because they see color, they don't see race, and they would just go with that as the virtuous pick against the against their mortal enemy for some reason, than Donald Trump will for some reason, because they've been programmed to think that way. And that would be a tough race. But this is what I'm saying, right? This has kind of been the thing. Luckily, all these people really suck compared to Trump and don't have great reputations, right? The ones that are listing off. But then you pull in a wild card like Michelle Obama, who has no experience and should never be doing the job to begin with. But can make it closer in a personality race, and then you give them enough room where it's not too big to rig, right? And then they can start playing their little games, their little counting games, their little ballot games, their little dead people voting games, or a little let minors and illegals vote game, all that shit. Stealing ballots out of the mailbox game, all the things we see them do, because their policies and their results aren't enough. They actually keep them from being able to win legitimately. So that, and their personalities, it's like the when it comes to the Democrat Party and the establishment, we feel these overwhelming numbers, right? Because we see them in terms of, but we don't know how legit those numbers are. They can certainly gather a mob full of people that are under the control of some agenda or some broken coalition, right? Where they don't really like each other, but they're there together anyways. They even, in some points, go against each other's interests. Their agendas conflict, yet they still come together, right? And we think, man, it's closer than we think, right? It's close. It's 50-50 in this country, but it's probably not 50-50 in this country. It's much like people like with like Pride Month and everything like that, and over the overabundance of marketing and promotion of that brand, and that's all I can call it is a brand. That people tend to think that it's more prevalent and more widespread than it really is. When it's only like 10% of the country will identify as anything other than straight, like 10%, and then 1% of that was like in the trans thing. So it's really not a lot of people, but they make it look like a lot of people. They make it seem like a lot of people. They put their brand everywhere, right? So you feel absorbed and saturated by it. It's just, again, it's part of the psychological warfare, right? And people don't want to, well, it's not psychological warfare. It's psychological warfare, it is. It's just like, people's ideas of what psychological warfare and mind control are much more complicated than they really need to be. What's going on out there? Let's finish this up and I'll talk.
Much more popular, more than twice as popular as unpopular there in the poll. That's the kind of profile the Democrats would probably want in this situation. But beyond Michelle Obama, not sure where you could find that, Chris.
It simply doesn't make any sense for a multitude of reasons. The timing just doesn't make sense. Who's going to want to vote for a party in disarray, a dysfunctional political organization that legitimately propped up a dementia patient as their president, then of course lied to you about it for 4 years, only to then pull the rug right from under you? I just don't see it happening. I cannot see a scenario where a last second switcheroo here ends positively. Too much confusion, party chaos, and dysfunction. Not exactly the type of stuff that builds confidence, huh? But unfortunately to leftoids, that isn't even their biggest problem. The biggest roadblock that they're running into in their quest to replace Joe Biden is the lack of alternatives. If Joe Biden was to drop out of the race, that would leave the Democrat Party scrambling to find a viable alternative candidate. Well, what options do they have? According to MSNBC's analysis, no one other than maybe Michelle Obama if she signals that she wants to run, but I don't even think Michelle Obama would be able to get the job done. With what, maybe 4.5, 5 months left ahead of Election Day? It's just not realistic. The only actual option that Democrats have, funnily enough, is what Cenk Uygur is advocating for.
If the Democrats don't replace him, the country will be forced to look at RFK Jr. And I'm forced into that. Because this guy isn't going to win. Biden is definitely not going to win. It's not even close.
Replacing Joe Biden with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and he's actually suggested that he's up for it.
Nobody's got better Democratic bona fides than you do, and they just pushed you out because of how toxic the party system has become. But now the guy they pushed you out for is in free fall.
Is this new or is this old? It's debate. Is this debate night? Okay, so it must be his new gig. Okay.
So, I'm just throwing it out there because it would really solve their problems and yours at the same time.
Yeah, I cannot predict what they're going to do. I mean,
Would you be open to talking to them? If they reached
and
out to you, Bobby, would you be talking to them?
Of course I would talk to them. It would put me on the ballot with nobody trying to get me off.
That is literally their only option.
Dude, it still would fail. I'm sorry. It still will fail. He's got bad takes on everything but like one topic that kind of crosses the aisle. I mean, he's got bad takes on everything else. I mean, his family, because of JFK, gets way too much credit. They get way too much credit. They're corrupt as hell. I mean, they're corrupt as hell. He's got a good point here. He's got a mission, but he's still basically locked into their side. I mean, even though his family's rejected him, whatever, because of that one thing, that's just pressure to pull him back in, get him back in line. And here, we'll see some more.
And I have to tell you, that's probably the scariest option. We're talking about a left-winged, independent, and even libertarian coalition. If the DNC was actually to rally behind RFK Jr., I promise you that would be very scary for the Trump campaign. But again, it just doesn't seem likely. The DNC hates Robert F. Kennedy Jr., for Pete's sakes. It seems as though Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s own Democrat family freaking hates him.
I do worry that Bobby just taking some percentage of votes from
Do they all talk like that? I mean, they all, even the women?
Biden could shift the election and lead to Trump's election.
He's trading in on Camelot, celebrity, conspiracy theories, and conflict for personal gain and fame.
There's simply
Hold on, he's hanging out with Camelot now? What the hell? What the hell? I knew it.
no way, because if the DNC was to pick RFK Jr., well, they would be electing him as their actual leader, meaning he'd be their new executive, setting the tone and the party's priorities. There is simply no way the deep state Democrat handlers relinquish their power like that. They would much rather have Joe Biden as a puppet, or maybe even a second Donald Trump term, giving them 4 years to rally and continue to fearmonger. I'd say they'd much rather that than ever pick RFK Jr. And so I really think this we're replacing Joe Biden thing, well, it's just extremely unlikely. Although crazier things have happened. Will it be Gavin Newsom? Or will it be Michelle
going on out
Obama?
there?
Will it be RFK Jr.? Or will it be just Joe? I guess we'll have to stay tuned to find out. That's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
All
Take
right.
a country's assets when it belongs.
Okay, so what's going on here in the chat that I missed while I was sitting here talking about things? Because I'm confused. What did I miss? What did I miss? Let me see. Something's going on here. Yeah. See, kitten, pull the Joey. Oh, see, Pat, Jeremy Adams stopped by. I didn't even see him. Old Mac Turner. Yeah, you're blocked, dude. I don't see you. So I don't know how other people saw you. Huh. I thought he was blocked. When he's blocked, he can't talk in the chat at all. How did anybody else see him? I got to fix that. Yeah. Well, no, let's take a look real quick then. Let's see. Have fun. You're not even close to my channel level, dude. So I'm not going to punch down on you. You're a habitual liar that's been outed over and over and over again. Oh, geez. And such a narcissist to come by and try to go down on go down on some dude, right? Try to come down on, a view count like you have some idea what that's like. Let's see how your channel is doing, pal. By the way, this show gets usually 3,000 to 4,000 views on Rumble, as well as Old School Watch Party Sundays. If you haven't seen my Rumble side, dude, go check out the numbers over there. All right. Because Rumble, there's people that know content. They're into the serious stuff. They're into the politics. They're into the things I cover. And so a lot of people check out my show there. But poor Captain Have Fun. I'm still living in his head. Poor guy. I know. Poor dude. He just can't get me out of his head. Thanks for taking care of that, guys. I did again. I'm wondering why everybody else can see him in my chat when I have him blocked. I'm pretty sure he's blocked. Oh, I don't sweat him. Like I said, ain't punching down on that guy. Nah, he's a super small, insignificant channel. Let's see. He always likes to spread the lies. 164 subscribers. Wow, you've grown a little bit. Let's see. Just curious. Okay. Streamed 10 months ago. 1 live, 53 views. Yeah. Well, just goes to show you what a liar that guy is. Can't stop lying. All right. Well, thanks for the entertainment there, Jeremy. I appreciate it. Cool. With that being said, this is the end of the kickoff show. We kicked it off with a funny exit there. We're going to go ahead and do the jump now. We're going to jump off of YouTube. Well, of course, we're going to continue to be streaming on X and Rumble, where we will do our featured presentation, Chapter 4 of Vivek Ramaswamy's Woke Inc. This chapter is called The Rise of the Managerial Class. It's about 46 minutes, so kind of a little shorter chapter tonight. But you guys got to remind me. I got to put those links in the chat before I go anywhere. That gives everybody time to get ready. Copy the link. All right. And there's that. Save it. Okay, now it's in the description. And oops, don't want that there. I want this over here. Right there. There we go. All right. And there are the full stream links to X and Rumble. Guys, it's about that time. Thank you so much for coming to the kickoff show. Even you, Jeremy. All right. We will see you guys on the flip side. Rumble and X, let's go read. And YouTube, we'll see you later.
Man, everyone's tensed up for a Rumble.